They laughed. German soldiers stood beside their massive Tiger tanks, holding bazookas on their shoulders, pointing and mocking what they saw in the sky. That's not a plane. That's a flying toy. The aircraft buzzing above them looked too small, too slow, too fragile. No armor, no heavy guns, no speed. Just a tiny silhouette crawling across the battlefield like a child's model. Some soldiers didn't even raise their weapons. Others joked, "Save your rockets. That thing would fall apart if a bird hit it." But 30 minutes later, the joke stopped, because the same toy plane returned, and behind it were burning Tiger tanks, screaming crews, and black smoke rising from Germany's most feared armor. By sunset, entire armored columns were destroyed. And the soldiers who laughed? They were either running or burning. This is the unbelievable true story of the plane nobody feared, and the pilot who turned mockery into terror. To slow cinematic music rises, a plane that didn't belong in war. World War II was the age of giants, giant tanks, giant bombers, giant battleships. Power was measured in size, speed, and firepower. So when this aircraft first appeared, military experts across Europe were confused. It was too small, too slow, too lightly armed. Some pilots joked it looked like it belonged at a flying club, not a battlefield. Its wings were thin. Its engine sounded weak. Its speed was barely faster than a car. German intelligence officers reviewing reconnaissance photos laughed. This is what the Allies are desperate enough to send now? Even Allied commanders weren't sure. Many believed the plane would be slaughtered the moment it faced real German firepower. And yet, this aircraft would soon become one of the most feared tank killers of the war. The man behind the controls. The pilot wasn't a legend. Not yet. He wasn't famous. He didn't come from a wealthy family. He wasn't even considered exceptional. He was ordinary. A quiet man with steady hands and a dangerous level of patience. Other pilots wanted fast fighters, shiny bombers, planes that made people look up in awe. But he chose this, the aircraft nobody wanted. When asked why, he replied calmly, "Because they won't see me as a threat." That sentence would later haunt German tank crews. German confidence, the Tiger tank era. By 1943, the Tiger I tank was the king of the battlefield. Thick frontal armor, a devastating 88mm gun, psychological dominance. Allied soldiers feared it. Many believed Tigers were nearly invincible. German tank commanders knew it too. They advanced with confidence. When enemy aircraft appeared, they simply scattered, waiting for fighters or heavy bombers. But this time, what they saw was different. Is that thing even armed? German troops spotted the aircraft low on the horizon. It flew slowly, almost lazily. No screaming dive, no heavy bomb drop, just a strange buzzing approach. A tank commander raised his binoculars. That can't be dangerous. A soldier nearby loaded a bazooka anyway, just in case. Another laughed. That plane's slower than my motorcycle. They waited. Some didn't even take cover. That was their mistake. The first strike. The pilot didn't rush. He descended slowly, dangerously low. So low that German gunners hesitated. If we fire, we might hit our own men. The plane leveled out. And then, two flashes from beneath the wings. Not bombs, not rockets, but armor-piercing incendiary rounds. They hit the engine deck of a Tiger tank, its weakest point. The result was instant. A fire erupted. Fuel ignited. The turret filled with smoke. The Tiger stopped moving. Crew members screamed as they tried to escape. The soldiers froze. They had just watched a toy plane kill a Tiger. Panic sets in before anyone could react. The plane came around again. Low, slow, precise. Another Tiger was hit, then another. Bazookas were fired wildly, missing every time. Machine guns sprayed the sky, useless. The aircraft wasn't fast enough to overshoot. It wasn't high enough to lose accuracy. It flew like a hunter circling wounded prey. German radio channels erupted in chaos. "We are under attack. Enemy aircraft destroying tanks. Request immediate fighter support." But it was too late. Why the toy plane worked. This aircraft succeeded because it broke every rule of air combat. It was too slow for fighter interception, too small for radar priority, too underestimated to trigger panic early. Its pilot exploited arrogance. German crews were trained to fear fast bombers and fighters. Not this. Not something that looked harmless. That miscalculation cost them everything. A battlefield transformed. Within an hour, multiple Tiger tanks burned. Supply trucks exploded. Infantry scattered in terror. Smoke covered the field. And still, the plane returned. Again and again. Each pass precise. Each attack deadly. The nickname spread among German troops by nightfall. The Flying Executioner. Germany's answer: kill that pilot. By the next morning, German headquarters was furious. Reports from the battlefield didn't make sense. Small aircraft. Low altitude. Tiger tanks destroyed. Officers thought their crews were panicking. Some accused them of exaggeration. But when reconnaissance photos arrived, silence filled the room. Blackened Tiger hulls. Burned supply convoys. Craters where elite armored units once stood. One general slammed his fist on the table. I don't care if it's a kite. I want that pilot dead. Orders were issued immediately. This time they wouldn't laugh. They would hunt. Building the perfect ambush. The Germans prepared a trap designed for normal aircraft. They placed anti-aircraft guns hidden near tank columns, fighter patrols circling at medium altitude, infantry squads armed with machine guns and bazookas. The plan was simple. Let the toy plane come in low again, then destroy it from every direction. German soldiers waited confidently. He won't survive today. What they didn't understand was that the pilot had already noticed the changes. The pilot who never rushed. Back at his airstrip, the pilot studied aerial photos quietly. He noticed new gun placements, fresh tracks in the dirt, vehicles positioned differently than before. This wasn't a normal battlefield. This was bait. Other pilots warned him. They're ready for you. You won't make it back. He simply nodded, then said, good, that means they're afraid, flying into the trap. The plane appeared just after noon, slow, low, buzzing like an insect. German soldiers smiled. There he is. Anti-aircraft crews waited for the perfect moment. The pilot descended even lower than before, so low that trees whipped past his wings. That confused them. Why is he flying like that? Then it happened. The ambush springs. The sky exploded. Anti-aircraft fire ripped upward. Machine guns opened from every direction. Bazookas streaked past the cockpit. For a moment, it looked impossible to survive. Bullets punched holes through the wings. Smoke filled the air. German gunners shouted, "We hit him! He's finished!" But the plane didn't crash. It vanished. The disappearance. The aircraft dropped suddenly, straight toward the ground. German soldiers gasped. He crashed. But there was no explosion, no fireball, just silence. What they didn't see was the plane skimming below the tree line, using hills and smoke as cover. The pilot had expected the ambush, and now every German gun was pointing the wrong way. The counterattack. Minutes later, the toy plane reappeared behind them. German soldiers froze. Impossible! The pilot attacked the anti-aircraft guns first. Precise bursts. One gun burned, then another, then another. Without AA cover, the tanks were naked. Tiger tanks burn again. The pilot switched targets. Tiger tanks. He didn't aim for armor. He aimed for engines, fuel, and ammunition. One Tiger erupted in flames. Another's turret blew sky high. Crew members scrambled out, on fire. German infantry panicked. Radio operators screamed for help. But help wouldn't arrive in time. Fighters arrived too late. German fighters finally appeared overhead. Fast, powerful. They searched the sky, but the plane wasn't there. It was too low, too slow, too close to the ground. By the time fighters descended, the battlefield was already lost. A new fear is born. Survivors told stories that night. It flies like a ghost. You can't hear it until it's too late. It kills tanks like they're made of paper. German troops stopped laughing. Whenever they heard a slow engine, they ran. The nickname spreads. The soldiers gave it a new name, the Tank Butcher. Officers tried to calm their men. It's just one plane. But the damage said otherwise. Entire advances stalled. Tiger units refused to move without fighter cover. One small aircraft had changed battlefield behavior. And the bloodiest day in the sky. A target too big to ignore. At dawn, Allied reconnaissance delivered shocking news. A massive German armored column was moving. Not scattered units, not a patrol, but dozens of Tiger and Panther tanks supported by infantry, artillery, and fuel trucks. Their destination? A key supply corridor. If they broke through, the front line would collapse. High command knew the truth. This is a job for bombers. But bombers needed time, fighter escorts, clear weather. The column would be gone by then. There was only one pilot already close enough. One aircraft already proven capable. They hesitated, then gave the order. Send him. A mission designed to kill him. German intelligence expected this. They had leaked information. They wanted the tank butcher to come. This time everything was ready. Multiple fighter squadrons, mobile flak units, tank crews ordered not to scatter. The message was clear. Let him attack. Then destroy him. It was a gamble, and both sides knew it. The pilot's choice. The pilot studied the mission map in silence. He knew this wasn't just another strike. This was a trap big enough to end his career, or his life. A junior officer finally spoke. Sir, you don't have to go. The pilot looked up. If I don't, those tanks will kill thousands. He climbed into the cockpit. Alone. The calm before chaos. The engine started with its familiar buzz. Not a roar, not a scream, just a steady hum. As he took off, clouds hung low. Perfect for hiding, perfect for dying. Radio chatter filled the air. All units on alert. Enemy aircraft expected. German gunners were ready. So was he. First contact. The armored column stretched for miles. Tanks packed tight. Fuel trucks close behind. It was exactly what he hoped for. And exactly what the Germans wanted. The first burst came from flak. Black smoke filled the sky. Then more. Then more. The pilot dropped low. Dangerously low. Burning the head of the snake. He attacked the lead tanks first. A Tiger exploded into flame. The column stopped. Confusion spread. Tanks jammed together. Gunners fired wildly. That was the mistake. The sky turns black. Flak tore the air apart. Shrapnel slammed into the plane. One control cable snapped. Warning lights flashed. The engine coughed. For a moment, even he thought it was over. Then he leveled out and attacked again. One pass becomes many. Pass after pass. Each attack more dangerous than the last. Tank after tank burned. Fuel trucks exploded like fireworks. German soldiers ran. Others froze. Some prayed. The battlefield became hell. Fighters in the air. German fighters arrived. Fast. Deadly. They dove toward him. The pilot did the unthinkable. He flew straight into the smoke and fire. Too low. Too chaotic. The fighters couldn't follow without crashing. One clipped a tree and exploded. The others pulled up. The breaking point. The plane was damaged. Fuel was low. Ammunition nearly gone. But below him, the column was destroyed. Dozens of tanks burned. The road was blocked for miles. The mission was complete, but he still had to survive. The long way home. He flew home barely above the ground. Every sound felt like death. Every shadow felt like a fighter. When the airstrip finally appeared, ground crews ran. They couldn't believe it. The plane landed. The engine died. Silence. Counting the damage. Reconnaissance confirmed it later. The numbers shocked everyone. Over 20 armored vehicles destroyed. Multiple Tiger tanks burned. Entire offensive delayed, all by one small plane. One pilot. Germany reacts. German commanders were furious. Orders were issued. Shoot any low-flying aircraft immediately. No exceptions. Troops were nervous. The sound of slow engines became terrifying. The toy plane had won. They laughed at him. They called it a toy. They aimed bazookas instead of fear, and they paid the price. One pilot, one small plane against the strongest tanks ever built. Tiger tanks burned. Columns collapsed. An entire army learned a hard lesson. Never underestimate what looks weak. The war would end. The smoke would fade, but the fear of that slow buzzing engine stayed with them forever, because sometimes the deadliest weapon isn't the biggest. It's the one nobody takes seriously. Music fades out.